Hello again, vinyl community, enthusiasts, lovers of all things vinyl. My name is Timothy Capetto. Welcome back to my channel, and thank you so much for stopping by today. First off, before I get started on what is today's topic, I just wanted to thank Jeff Party. Thank you so much for responding on my introductory video there to the vinyl community. I really do appreciate that, and I do enjoy your videos that I have seen thus far. Among a lot of you guys, I really do thank you for those of you that have been consistently putting out vinyl videos and talking about your passion and just sharing some of your favorites out of your vinyl collection, which is what I intend to do today. Basically, I want to just start this video series by just going back to just this year in February, when I actually started my vinyl collection, as I mentioned in my first video. So let's just get started here and see what I got back in February of 2017. So the first thing, and again, I don't know if a lot of you guys know who Babymetal is, but they are basically a Japanese pop group, and I just dig them. I dig them a lot. They gained a lot of ground back in, I think it was either 2014, 2015. This album came out in 2015, but I didn't hear of them, from you know, going to a concert or anything like that. It was like a lot of people heard about them, which was through YouTube. And let me actually just show you the back of this as well. This is a really cool and really awesome first album. Again, even though you know everything that they are singing about, they are in excuse me, I'm twisting all my words today. They are singing in, of course, Japanese. Some great songs off here, even though I pretty much love all the songs off of here, which a lot of people know, which a lot of people have seen this video hundreds of times over, I know I have, called Give Me Chocolate. If you have not seen that video or heard that song, go check it out on YouTube. I'll be very surprised if you are not at least entertained and at all maybe enjoy the song, because it's pretty awesome. Another one I really like on here is Doki Doki Morning. That's another great song off this album. And then let's see here, there was Headbanger's pretty intense as well. But overall, for a beginning album like this, to start their career off, super great. I really enjoy it. Then I also have their second one, which is called Babymetal Resistance, and this one is fantastic as well. I would say this to you guys: if you were to start listening to Babymetal, of course I would encourage you to check out the first album. But if you're looking for more of a more mainstream, if that's even the right word to use, metal style album, maybe more to what some people are more used to hearing, they definitely go more towards that path with this album. This is not a gatefold though, but some standout tracks on this are the Karate song, which again, that's another song. Check it out on YouTube. It's fantastic. They got they got a lot of help from the guys in Dragon Force, which I know that can be kind of a touchy subject with some of the metal community from videos I've seen on YouTube, is the Dragon Force band. But I mean, I enjoy their Through the Fire and Flames song. I mean, most people do. But Metal Resistance, great album. Pick this up as well. I will mention before I go on to the next album that I got in February that Babymetal is something that I really enjoy. Maybe just a little bit more on MP3 CD, and I know we're talking about vinyls here, and vinyl to me still is, in my mind, very quickly becoming the best way to listen to music. But I will say that with some of these albums that come out that are not, obviously, with every album now for the most part is coming out now on a digital format, so they are taking the digital file and then they are putting it on the vinyl. which is analog. With some albums that I've gotten, it's worked out great. These two albums, I would say that the second album, I felt that it had a lot more of a warm tone to it, more so than the first album. The first album just felt a little bit, I don't know, it just didn't, the vocal was very present, so you could say that was warm, but a lot of the instruments just seemed not as present, like they just didn't feel as tight, you know, and together. So, but overall, awesome band. Next, band on the run. Who doesn't know Paul McCartney? Hello, the Beatles. But Paul McCartney, as far as the Beatles are concerned, is my favorite Beatle overall. And I know he's a favorite Beatle of a lot of people, but Band on the Run, I got this at my local record shop for $12.99. It was considered a very decent copy, which I agree. The record actually looked very, very clean, and doesn't skip, doesn't have any issues like that. But of course, standout tracks on this album, Band on the Run, which up until I got this album specifically, I had never heard the studio version in a form other than the radio, on vinyl or cassette or anything. So that was a treat. Jet, another great song. A song that I've come to really, really enjoy is Bluebird, which is the third song on this record. If those of you that have a copy of this record or have heard that song before, spot on, great pop, mixed in with bird sounds and just a real tropical sounding track. But one of the best tracks on that album, besides those other two that I mentioned. There's a lot of great tracks on that album though. Next one, which I mentioned in my first video, I like the blues. This is my B.B. King Live at the Regal, and this I've listened to this probably, I want to say like 4, maybe 5 times, maybe 6 by now actually, since I've had it. But this is a stereo pressing, and so it sounds great for a live recording. You know, and I know that some of these albums that I'll be showing you are probably repressings of the albums. I know a few of them are for sure. As far as, you know, just obviously by no means an original, so this is a repressing. But as far as a live album, and my first B.B. King record ever, I was very impressed. One that I was really happy about was Every Day I Have the Blues, which originally I was introduced to that song by watching a John Mayer concert that had the song Every Day I Have the Blues, which was his version of it. B.B. King's version definitely is a little bit different, but honestly though, B.B. King does it so well, and you know, it's an amazing track. So I also like Sweet Angel, which that's a classic B.B. King song. Please Love Me. Like I said, I've listened to it about 5 or 6 times by now, and this album is definitely, if you like B.B. King and you haven't picked this up, do so. Do yourself a favor and get that one. It's great. Okay, so here is, everybody knows these guys. At least you should know these guys. Led Zeppelin. Their first album. This is a band that I knew of because of my dad mentioning them before. Barely ever knew a lot of their tracks. I knew, of course, you know, some of their classic tracks like Stairway to Heaven and like that. But honestly, this is a band that I never really knew a lot about, and so getting to actually listen to this band and just listen to the quality of the band, and also just the overall impressive vocals by Robert Plant, an amazing vocalist. Of course, Jimmy Page is killer guitar player, one of the guys I look up to, and I play guitar as well. But Good Times, Bad Times, right off the bat. Fantastic song. Baby, I'm Gonna Leave You. I'll say this, that this really is one of the best albums I've ever heard. And I know a lot of you share that same opinion. But great, fantastic album. I don't know what you could not like about this album. This is a remastered pressing, which some of you may have been able to tell by just looking at the back of this. But it is a repressing of the original that Jimmy Page did help out and help remaster everything. So overall, super great album. Really impressed with it. We'll listen again very soon. Okay, now take this one out of the sleeve. I'm sure a lot of you may be able to guess what this is, but this is the Beatles' White Album. And I picked this one up fairly early when I was first just getting into vinyl back in February here. But of course, who doesn't like the White Album? I mean, it's got so many wonderful tracks on it. And something that I had learned from other YouTubers, vinyl YouTubers, is that I didn't know this, is that it says the Beatles. That's the actual album name, and it was just called the White Album by fans because it's white. Go figure. But back in the USSR, this is another type of album where I never really, other than the radio, never heard a cassette, CD, or any version. Actually, no, I take that back. I have heard I do own the CD of this, but still, the one thing that amazes me time and time again about vinyl is how you can hear some of these albums on CD, for example, or even MP3, and it's like you're hearing it for the first time. That's how I felt with the Led Zeppelin album as well. I was like, wow, I've heard some of these songs before, maybe in passing, but wow, I was so blown away. And this was one of those records, was the Beatles' White Album back in the USSR. Sounded absolutely amazing. Dear Prudence. Oddly enough, the first time I heard that, I was playing Rock Band. Rock Band on the Wii. That's what I meant to say. But super great album. While My Guitar Gently Weeps, classic track. George Harrison killed it on that song. Helter Skelter, Revolution, number 1. It's a great listen. The only one that kind of gets me sometimes is Revolution number 9. It's tough for me to get through that. I don't know if I'm not considered a real Beatles fan if I can't sit through that, but it makes me literally feel like I'm on drugs. But lastly, showed this in my first video, but here it is again. Rolling Stones, Blue and Lonesome. Great blues record. They took a lot of the blues classics, and I really love this shot of the band. It looks like they really had a good time, which I heard that they recorded this fairly quickly. It didn't take them that long, so I mean, they got this out to everybody as quickly as they could, So again, just to kind of go over this again, Can't Quit You Baby is one of my most favorite tracks on there. Just Your Fool is another great one. Blue and Lonesome, of course, the title track. Overall, this was my first record. Again, I got this back when I went to Barnes & Nobles and got my record player there as well. And it was fantastic. I listened to that one several times as well. But as you can see, it didn't take me long. I already got a few different records in the month of February, and I was already well on my way to being a vinyl junkie, so to speak. So that's my video for today. Thank you guys. If you listened to this video up into this point, congratulations. Just because, I'm passionate about vinyl, and I hope that those of you who are watching are passionate about it as well. So thanks for stopping by. Next video that I'll be making, I'll be talking about the March vinyls that I picked up in March of 2017. So we'll see you guys next time. Keep spinning that wax. Thanks.